85% of welfare and food stamp moochers are white, live in southern red states, and vote for Republicans.
There are no organizations dedicated to the welfare of rural whites.
How many people have noticed that just about every Democratic policy that white conservatives despise, they benefit most from?
That welfare was created for white people.
You guys heard? Elected Republicans are fighting with the Trump administration on the background because some of the Trump executive orders are hurting Republican.
If you're white and you had anyone in your family serve in the military in the past 400 or so years, you got welfare. The United States issued 500,000 land grants before it passed the Homestead Act.
So the $1 million question is, when were all these benefits put in place? That's affirmative action, welfare. When were they put in place? Because coming to think of it, this thing did not start yesterday, or even the other day, or even 10 years ago. It started many, many years ago. We are talking about 1930s, or even 100 years ago. And if white people keep claiming that it's black people that benefit from these benefits, when did black people ever benefit from affirmative action or welfare? 100 years ago. Because honestly, at that time, black people were not even considered as people in the United States. When did black people ever benefit from all these benefits? 100 years ago.
So I posted about white folks on food stamps, and one thing I kept seeing was that welfare was created for white people. I knew that it was created during the New Deal, so I did some more research because I didn't really know the whole story, and I thank you guys for responding and helping me learn stuff. So during the Great Depression is when we saw the beginning of things like Social Security, unemployment insurance. But here's the kicker. When Franklin Roosevelt built those programs, he had to make deals with Southern Democrats in Congress, the same folks who were big fans of Jim Crow, to get the support of these racist white Southern politicians. The programs were designed to exclude farm workers, domestic workers, jobs held overwhelmingly by Black, Latino, and Indigenous people. So right from the start, Black and brown families were pushed out of benefits so that white people could get them. Then we move forward to the 1960s, and there's this war on poverty. It finally opened up welfare programs more broadly, and that's when food stamps became permanent. Well, permanent, we don't know what Trump's going to do to them, but they lasted a long time. And guess what? The minute more Black and brown families started accessing this help, the politics shifted. Welfare got a new image and a new target. By the 1980s and 90s, with Ronald Reagan and his gang, they pushed the welfare queen myth. That's a racist dog whistle meant to turn public opinion against safety nets by blaming Black women for poverty that white policies created. That's the truth, you guys. So yes, welfare was built for white people, and when others finally got in the door, they tried to burn the house down. If you want to blame the right people, you got to get curious.
Finally, you get to see the true America. The stipulation has always been that black people are lazy, that black people are on welfare. Well, guess what? A lot of poor white people in the red states are now crying that they're not getting the EBT money from the EBT cards. Why? Because they are on welfare. They have 7 and 8 kids. Now the truth is coming out since Trump has slashed funding for the EBT and the SNAP programs. You see how many white people now are on welfare. So all this mythical stuff about black people being on welfare, oh, it's the blacks, it's the blacks, it's the blacks. Now you're seeing the real America, that it's not only black people on welfare, that there are a lot of white people on welfare also. There are a lot of white people, a lot of poor people living in those red states, and those red states that voted for Trump are now getting hit hard.
Yes, statistically speaking, white people are the biggest beneficiary of welfare programs. And I just want to drop some knowledge on you. Not on you specifically, but on the original comment, the person that posted it. All right, so a little bit about me is that prior to becoming an attorney, my trade actually is economics. I'm an economist by trade and education-wise. In fact, I was going to work on Wall Street prior to becoming an attorney, but I wound up becoming an attorney. Now that that's out the way, let's get to the raw statistics. All right, so white people are the biggest beneficiaries of welfare. White people make up about just about a little bit over 40% of welfare, being recipients of welfare. Another 25.7% is made up by African American. Approximately 10.3 are Hispanic. 2.
Government assistance was made for white people. The fact that the programs are made in like 1935, like in the 1930s, says it all right there, given the fact that black people were not even considered people under the law at that time. But I've really been doing some more research and reading, and I read an article and they were talking about how like up until like the 60s or 70s, black people really could not qualify for government assistance. And that is absolutely disheartening, being that now it hasn't even been 100 years later that black people are now the face of all racial stereotypes regarding government assistance in Section 8. Meanwhile, these same programs were never even made for us. Meanwhile, black people had to jump through hoops to get qualified. Meanwhile, people talk about black fathers not being in the home, and these same government institutions were not wanting the men to be there. Like, what the fuck?
Guys, you guys heard? Elected Republicans are fighting with the Trump administration on the background because some of the Trump executive orders are hurting Republican. And to be quite frankly, they realize some of the Trump executive orders are hurting white folks. You know this saying that you tell yourself a lie long enough and you start believing in it? That's basically what's going on with the Republican Party now. For decades now, the Republican Party has been telling folks that the United States government is solely there for the betterment of black folks and other minorities. And since Brown v. Board of Education's 1954 eradicate segregation but equal, the Civil Rights of 1964, redlining. So ever since those things, the Republican Party has been telling their voters that, listen, the government is there for the betterment of black folks and minorities, so we need less government, right? Ronald Reagan was really good with that. So less government. The government is not the solutions. Government is the problem. That's what you heard. But the fact of the matter is, most social programs, the overwhelming of the social government programs, are used by white folks. And which makes sense because the U.S. population is about 65-68% white. Therefore, a larger group of whites are using those social programs. But because they've been telling themselves this lie for so long, they believe into it and they put executive orders in place to reduce the size of the U.S. government. Lo and behold, who are getting hurt are those voters. Right now, there's the fight. There's an infighting in the Republican Party to say, hey, we don't want you to hurt those folks. Right? And the crazy thing is, the U.S. government has always been there, has always been in place for the betterment of white America. Right? Redlining. Technically, a red line to where the FHA would HUD, where HUD would finance loan, where HUD wouldn't finance loan, the black neighborhood, any loans, and that HUD said they wouldn't, they would not finance, and the white neighborhood they would finance it. That's what redlining is. Right? The GI Bill. 98% of folks who participated in the GI Bill were were white folks. Only 2% of black and minority actually took participate in the GI Bill, because the GI Bill, the money was disseminated to local government, and local government with their racist Jim Crow laws in place, no black veterans could actually participate. So again, the Republican Party has been telling themselves this lie for 4 or 5 decades now, and they believe it. And it's just now they realize, oh shoot, these people are not the larger benefactor of government programs.
85% of welfare and food stamp moochers are white, live in southern red states, and vote for Republicans. Go figure. And those same Republicans are trying to take that away from you. And you voted for it. Can't blame the Democrats. This is what you voted for.
How many people have noticed that just about every Democratic policy that white conservatives despise, they benefit most from? For example, white conservatives claim they despise federal government overreach. Well, 8 of the top 10 states that take federal tax dollars are conservative states. They'll tell you welfare is socialism and we need to end welfare. Well, white people have benefited more from welfare than any other demographic, while excluding black Americans. They'll tell you gun laws don't work because they don't keep us safe. Well, 16 of the top 17 states in gun death rates are conservative states who have almost no firearm legislation. They'll tell you government does not help when making healthcare affordable. Well, while 13 of the top 14 states in death rates by diabetes are conservative states, 193 Republicans voted against lowering the cost of insulin. They'll tell you they despise affirmative action. Well, affirmative action has benefited white women more than any other demographic. Studies show white conservatives don't hate these benefits, they just don't want black people to have access to them. Because when you've had privilege your whole life, equality feels like oppression.
This stipulation has been, oh, black people are lazy, oh, black people are on welfare, black people this and that, until the news and statistics came out that it's only white people that have been benefiting from all these benefits. Right now, the red states are crying. Why? Because Trump slashed EBT and SNAP benefits. They are no longer receiving EBT money from their EBT cards. And, it's true that when these white people keep claiming, keep crying that, oh, this is benefiting black people, that's not the case. They are the ones that are benefiting. Yeah, so guys, let me know what are your thoughts and opinions about this down in the comment section. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Yeah, so until the next episode, for now, goodbye.